Hello, I'm Simon Oldroyd, Dean of the Faculty of Health and Life Sciences here at DMU. The Faculty of Health and Life Sciences at DMU brings together high quality education, industry links and specialist teaching. It's home to our wide range of pharmaceutical, healthcare, lab-based and social science courses which aim to improve the lives and health of those around us. Many of our courses are professionally accredited or endorsed by professional bodies, meaning you can be assured of receiving teaching of the highest quality with a focus on building the skills which are really sought by employers. Behind me you can see the 19th century Hawthorne building, which has facilities designed to replicate current practice in health and life sciences, including contemporary analytical chemistry and formulation laboratories, audiology booths, nursing and midwifery clinical skills suites. Our recent addition of a new radiography suite simulates real-world settings, allowing you to put theory into practice. Integrated placements, optional work experience and voluntary opportunities also provide you with the chance to learn from professionals in the sector. Our students have already benefited from placements at schools, in community centres, the NHS and major pharmaceutical companies, law enforcement agencies and community pharmacies. Alongside employability, we pride ourselves in producing graduates who are able to work as part of an interprofessional team, and we have teaching designed to embed this throughout your time with us to further enhance your career prospects. Our graduates go on to secure jobs in globally recognised companies including GSK, AstraZeneca, LGC Forensics, Boots, 3M, the Ministry of Defence, as well as the NHS. I hope I've provided a flavour of health and life sciences and the community that you could be a part of. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Hello everyone, my name's Laura and I work in the events team here at DMU. Welcome to our nursing live stream today, where we're going to be shining a spotlight on nursing here at DMU. We're delighted that you can join us today, and we hope that you're ready to answer. We hope we're able to answer any of the questions you may have. So please do use that comments and questions box that I have on your screen there, and we'll be sure to answer them and bring them into the discussion as we go through. Now, without further delay, I want to introduce our guests today and get them to share their journeys into nursing.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm a third year student learning disability nurse at DMU.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm a third year adult field of practice here at DMU.
And hi, I'm Lazar Karagic. I'm Associate Professor of Nursing and Midwifery and a children's nurse by trade.
Great stuff. Thanks, guys. So, Emma, I'm going to kick off with you first. Yeah. Did you want to give us a bit of information about why you chose to study nursing at DMU?
Yeah. So I come from a working life background, so I didn't come from sixth form. I spent about 10 years working in a special needs school, working my way up to a senior teaching assistant. And so I've kind of had aspects of learning disability in my life, as well as having a sibling who has a learning disability. I'd always flitted with the idea of nursing, but I was quite comfortable in my job. So when COVID hit and I wasn't able to work, I decided that now was the change. Now was the time to have the challenge. So I'd chose DMU because I live in Leicester and it's local to me. And it just made sense. I've got family who have also been at DMU for nursing. So I know about the rich history DMU have to train nurses. So it just made sense to me to stay local, go to somewhere that I know has a really good reputation. So I applied on a whim in 2020, and here I am now, 6 months before qualifying.
Oh, it's great to have you. What about yourself, Emily?
So I chose DMU because I went around different universities and none of them really stood out like DMU did to me. I'd got friends that were doing different courses at DMU, none of them doing nursing. I didn't know anyone doing nursing, but when I looked around, I felt like there was something for me, and the opportunities of the global trips and the placements that were offered kind of intrigued me towards the nursing direction. And then I wasn't very well myself, so I was in and out of hospital, which kind of gave me the flavour of being on the patient's perspective. So that's when I wanted to join into nursing.
Lovely. I'm going back to you now, Emma. I just wanted to see if you had any highlights of your course so far, like any examples of different bits and bobs that you really, really loved.
Yeah, so what I love about the nursing course is the placements. So you obviously go into uni and you learn the theoretical side, so learning about how the body works, different interventions, how to change your communication to suit each individual patient, and then taking that theory and putting it into practice. So I've had quite a lot of community placements, so being able to use what I've learned in the clinical labs as well as in the lecture theatres, using that on placement, because you find that sometimes you feel like, oh, there's so much to take in, I'm not learning anything, but actually you are learning when you go out on placement and you do just such a small thing like change your communication, for example, using pictures to get your point across to your patient, is really quite rewarding actually.
Brilliant. How about yourself, Emily? What have been your favourite parts?
Other than placement, I've got a highlight that I'm looking forward to. I'm going to Amsterdam with the DMU Global to learn about harm prevention of substance misuse and sexual health, which is something I'm really looking forward to. And then for me, like just the way that DMU's like become like a family, and the friends I've made here at DMU. So for us, we have like a massive cohort, but we're all really close knit. Everyone seems to know each other. Doesn't matter what field of practice you're in. We've got WhatsApp groups to support each other through. So it's been really nice developing new friendships that all have like common interests.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. So we all know that starting a university course and transitioning from sixth form or college or employment itself can be very daunting. So what sort of support is in place to help our nursing students with their studies, Lazar?
Lots of support. I think Emily put her finger on it. It's about a community, and the best support you're going to have is your friends and other people on the course. There's 80 odd staff within the School of Nursing and Midwifery. They're pretty much all nurses or midwives, so they've all trodden those journeys and done those things, and will be there to support. Most of us are personal tutors, so we tend to have a personal tutor group and follow that same group through 3 years, hopefully, of their training, so that's a familiar face. There's also, every time that you go out into practice or you are out into placement, there is a practice assessor and a practice supervisor there that will help and look after you, so you're never left on your own without supervision.
Brilliant, thank you. Emma, how did you find the transition yourself, and what were your biggest worries before you started the course here at DMU?
Yeah, so obviously when you say you're going to university, usually you think of youngsters like 18, 19, 20-year-olds. That's usually the time that people go to university. So coming from the world of work and being a mature student, I think that was my greatest worry, especially starting during COVID times. I hadn't met anyone. I kind of started going on the DMU Facebook groups to see if there was anyone doing nursing, because I was quite worried that I was going to be an older person, though I look quite young, which is in my favour. I had that bit of a concern that the age difference would be a bit of a problem or worry, but actually when it comes to it, I haven't noticed it at all. I mean, in my cohort alone, we've got people of different ages, people who are older than me, people who are younger than me. And like Emily said earlier, we're all there for a common interest, which is to do nursing, to support the public, and also just show our passion of our field of practice. So when I started setting up WhatsApp groups for my learning disability cohort, it was just quite nice to find your own people. You found your group, and I've got friends for life from the course, really.
That's really important. I think that's the whole why we're really focusing on your DMU community, is bringing people together now at this early process when they are applicants and they are looking to choose and things, and getting them involved now and getting them talking to each other. So definitely starting that social side very early on. So that's great. Emily, how did you feel about going on your first placement, and what was the experience like?
So I was quite nervous about my first placement. I went into district nursing, and we hadn't been in uni yet other than to do some of our basic training for like the safety of CPR and stuff. So for us, our first placement was quite daunting because of COVID. But I felt my first placement was amazing. The support I was given was unbelievable. And from the day one, it was not like, oh, you're just a student or anything like that. You were one of them. From the first day they threw me in the deep end and was like, right, okay, you're going to do a catheter, like you're fine. And they taught me through it step by step. So I felt part of the team for my district, which was really nice. I was on one-on-one with a different nurse, but I just made sure I was prepared. Like, I did some reading about district nursing and what kind of things were involved, look about wound care and stuff like that. And then my local GP, the nurse I went to see, she was like, come on, we're going to practice injection techniques on the mattress before I'd gone in. So like, once people know you're a nurse, like a student nurse, everyone's there to support you. Like, it generally feels like everyone wants to help you achieve. So my first placement was amazing.
Oh, brilliant. That sounds really, really good. And it's nice that they treated you, as one and as one of them. That's great. So there must have been times where you've both sort of faced challenging, difficult situations in these placements. How did you cope with that as a student nurse, Emma?
I think it's about making sure that you have an open and honest professional relationship with your placement itself. So with your practice assessors, who's a registered nurse, but also the practice supervisors. I think also having that confidence to raise your concerns, because sometimes, like anyone can, it can be quite a bit of a criticism and you like take it personally, but being able to speak out. And if placement don't listen, or that you can't find your common ground, go back to your uni and say to your personal tutor or your academic assessor who's your link to placement in uni, that okay, we've got these differences of opinions, or I've got these concerns, so that you can have an honest and open forum to talk and acknowledge each other's experiences and opinions, because you will have that. People have different opinions, but having that safe space to talk and express how you're feeling, because at the end of the day, you're all there for the holistic well-being of your patient.
That's great, thank you. So what about yourself, Emily? Any sort of challenging situations, and what were your coping mechanisms?
So for me, I had a particular placement that was a challenge, but that came down to a difference in opinion, but it wasn't like confrontation or anything like that. It's the way you communicate with them, ask questions. You could go, oh, that's not how I was shown. Do you mind showing me again? If there is something that you don't always agree with, that's fine. Try and speak to the nurse that you're with. But in my situation, that didn't work. So I went back to university, and university was straight on it, supported me within like the day that I went back to them and said, look, I've got a little bit of a concern. We've also got like the WhatsApp groups I said earlier. Like, I went onto the group chat for the rest of them. I was like, I'm struggling. This is how I'm feeling. Everyone kind of supports each other. Also, you'll find that there's other students out on placement, so you can always go up to them and say, I'm not really sure about this. Can you explain? But all in all, your supervisors, your assessors are all there to support you and make sure that you are there. You've got the support. You're getting the things that you need to achieve ticked off. So just go back to uni is what I did.
I think what you're saying there is key communication and reaching out to that support that you've got. We've got plenty of support at DMU and within your placement, and making sure that you speak to those right people. So thank you so much for sharing both. That's really appreciated. So our nursing students spend a lot of time learning in practical workshops and clinical skills sessions. Our suite of newly enhanced simulations facilities support students by offering realistic and immersive environments alongside the latest technology in simulation training. Now let's have a quick look at some of the facilities that we have to offer.
If you choose to come and study on one of our nursing programmes, you'll have access to state-of-the-art facilities that give you an immersive and realistic environment similar to the one you'll experience in your clinical placements and in your future nursing career. These environments provide our students with opportunities to develop cognitive, practical and interpersonal skills through a comprehensive programme of simulated experiences and clinical skills sessions, allowing you to practice safely and develop the confidence to perform in the real world. We currently have 2 dedicated spaces on campus that provide flexible teaching and assessment spaces to meet a wide range of students' needs. Here in the Hawthorne building, we have 2 hospital ward environments where students can practice a range of clinical skills such as physical examination and nasogastric tube insertion, along with a sensory environment, a basic life-saving skills lab and a moving and handling suite. DMU have invested heavily in extending and enhancing the range of clinical skills and simulation facilities for health and life science students. Our brand new facilities here at Heritage House offer 3 flexible teaching spaces, a dedicated audiology suite, individual assessment rooms and a soft furnished space that support a range of different courses for health and life science students. To enrich the student learning experience, we utilise specialist simulation audio-visual technology that allows us to live stream and record sessions. Students can watch the feed from anywhere using their single sign-on, enabling us to provide live demonstrations to large groups using annotated footage to enhance the learning experience further. This technology also enhances your learning opportunities through the use of meaningful debriefing of teaching sessions and simulation, allowing you to reflect on your practice and improve in both ability and confidence before taking your learning into the real world. I hope you've enjoyed finding out about the facilities we have here on offer for you at DMU. For more information, you can visit our website or come along to one of our open days.
Great little video there to show the facilities. Emily, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about the facilities and what sort of things you use on a day-to-day basis there.
Yeah, so our facilities, like the rooms within Heritage House and Hawthorne, we, depending on what skills we're trying to learn that day, depends on what kind of things are in there. But currently, one of the things we're using more often is, can never say the right word, the dolls that are basically like programmed to do certain things. So for us, that's us like doing our A to E assessments, like it's making it more realistic so we can assess the patient, going through the correct method to make sure that we're covering everything that we would do in an emergency situation, but in a safe environment. So for us, or for me personally, I felt that quite reassuring that I know what I'm doing and I can go now out to practice. And if I got that situation where I was needing to carry that out, I can do that quite confidently because I've carried it out on placement in uni so much that I know what we're doing. And after you are given a debrief to say, okay, this is what you did really well, this is what I'd do next time. So we've always got that bounce back to make sure that we're improving.
Mm-hmm. Lazar, do you have anything to add about the facilities?
No, I think Emily highlighted it really well. It's about trying to do it in a safe space and when you're not under pressure, and it can often be quite a lot of fun, you know, so you've not got you know, the patient looking at you, you're feeling like they're sort of staring you while you're practicing these things. And we're really sort of proud of that, where we've come to with our sort of facilities, and simulation is sort of a key part of our learning going forward. Mannequin is the word you're looking for, I think, Emma.
Yeah, that's the one.
I was going to say sim man and sim woman, and
I was going to say Annie, but that's the more first aid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mannequins. Bless you. That's great. So hopefully that's given a bit more of an insight into what you can expect to study nursing at DMU. Do post, as I said, do put any comments or questions in. Let us know where you're here, like where you're watching in from, that sort of thing, in the comments there. We are here to answer any of your questions, and obviously we've got the students that are currently studying, so it's a perfect opportunity for you to ask any questions there. So you can come and see the facilities for yourself. So we do have an open day taking place on July the 1st, which is a Saturday. So no excuses, not at school or work or anything. So please do look and try and book onto one of those, and we'll put the information in later about that. But yeah, you'll be able to watch the demonstrations there, and you'll be able to take part in taster sessions as well. So really hands-on experience at the open day. So definitely worth checking that out if you haven't already. So now we're going to move on to question and answer session. But before we come to any questions that we've got from the audience or any that we've got here, I'm just going to ask a question to both Emily and Emma. So what are the misconceptions that you've had about being a nursing student? And was there anything you wish you'd known before you started your course? I'm going to go to Emma first.
Yeah. I think one misconception that I had, and also I've kind of seen since being a nursing student, is that being a nursing student means that your job's going to be on a ward That's not necessarily true. And then the misconception that I've kind of been faced with as a learning disability student nurse is that if you're not, say, an adult nurse or children's nurse, if you're like a mental health nurse or learning disability nurse, that we're not real nurses. We don't do the same. Actually, we do. I learn the same things and clinical skills as the other fields practices. And I've also had quite a lot of placements that have been in the community. So I've been with referral teams. I've been with a learning disability nursing community team. I've just had a placement with a learning disability forensic team, which I kind of knew existed but didn't. And actually that opened my eyes more to what is out there. And it's definitely somewhere that I see myself in the future. So yeah, if you hear misconceptions of, that means you're on a ward or you're going to be in a GP practice. If you are, that's great. Everyone has their own specialities and places they want to work, but have an open mind. There's completely unknown placements that you don't know of out there, like forensic, community. So yeah, the world is your oyster, really. When you're a qualified nurse, you can be literally anywhere.
That's a really good point, Emma. Really good point. How about yourself, Emily? Is there anything that you wish you'd known before starting your course?
Yeah, I think for me personally, it's just to not compare yourself to everybody else. So for me, in my really close friendship group, I've got people that have been HCAs for like 10 years in ITU, in elderly medicine. So they have quite a broad knowledge of actually what it's like being on the ward. So for me, coming straight from A-levels, I didn't have that same experience. So, or because we're given different placements, we're all learning things at different speeds. Although we all still achieve the same things with our skills and our goals, this is our own personal journey as well. So for me, I would just say, go along with your friends, share your experiences, but make sure this is your journey. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Don't think that you're not learning as quick as anybody else, because you are, and you're all picking up your own things that makes you as a nurse.
I'm going to ask a question of my own now, actually, thinking about it. It's a really interesting discussion. I'm just going to ask how you guys balance your student lifestyle and your coursework as well, and your placements.
I think it's up to it's individual preferences. Everyone has their own way of time managing. You have to. I've spent the last couple of years trying to find that balance. You don't have it straight away. It doesn't come to you just like that. It's about making sure that while you're concentrating on your studies, that you're also making sure you've got time for yourself. So like I'm a Beaver Scout leader. So having that time away from uni, doing something completely different is definitely key. I know I spoke to Emily earlier and we were talking about diaries. Having a diary, whether that's a paper copy or mine's a digital copy. So mine's like linked to my email account, and I have different categories which are for uni, when I'm in uni, when I'm on placement, when I'm going out to see a show, or if I'm going out to see family. So it's making sure that you carve out that time, making sure that you've got time for yourself, because we're all human, there is a bit of misconception that, nurses, we are robots. We're not. We're all human. We all have lives. It's just making sure you find that balance for yourself. Lazard's going, no.
How about you, Emily?
It's very true. I think, the course. Sorry, Laura. The course goes up and down, doesn't it? Over 3 years is a long time. And you have lots of highs. And you're also going to have lots of lows. And that's part of the attraction, I think, to a program like nursing, is that you're never going to get 2 days that are going to be the same. And some days that you think the world's caved in, I'm not ever coming back. Next day you come back and somebody says, thank you. You've done a great job, and you're back on that horse and you're feeling great again.
That is great. That's a very good point. How about Emily? How about you? How do you sort of balance your life and having fun at the same time?
Yeah, so like I said, diaries is everything. I plan everything to the nth degree. But for me, it's like you said, making sure that you make time for yourself, and while making sure that you're doing your assignments on time, making sure you're at placement, for me, I will only do like bursts of like 2 hours on my assignment at a time, and then I'll put it away and say, actually, this is time for me now. Or if I've had a really like hectic day at placement the day before and I'd planned to do something, actually, it's okay to say, no, I'm not doing it. I need some time for myself. It's all just about time management. It does seem really daunting initially, but the more you plan, you'll get used to it. It's fine. Don't worry. Everyone's feeling the same. I think that's the biggest thing. I'd just say communicate with others, actually talk to them. How are you coping? This is how I'm doing. So making sure that you're just sharing it. But for me, like Emma said, I just diary everything, making sure that everything's in there.
Some great tips there. Thanks very much, Emily. So we're going to come to we've actually got a question from our audience member. So we're just going to bring that up. So thanks for joining us today. And we've got, the question is, what is the different speciality in nursing aside from working in the hospital? Lazar, are you able to fill us in on this?
Yeah, I'll give that a go and the guys can chip in. So there's 4 fields of nursing. That's learning disabilities, adult mental health and child. So you now have to choose pretty much at the start of your program which of those fields that you want to use, and each one brings a different flavor. I think Emma said it really well in regard to most ill people are not in hospitals. You know, most people who need support are actually out in the communities, in GP surgeries, in minor injuries, in their own homes. So actually, I think that the ideal goal eventually would be for us to have more flexible working and services where we can see patients in their own homes rather than in hospitals. So there's a variety of different environments, and you're going to be exposed to all those environments through your placement, and some that you're going to think that you're not going to enjoy, you absolutely love, and others that you think that you're going to absolutely love, you're going to think, I enjoyed that, but it's not for me. So I think that's what sort of doing a 3-year program, and why I think it's important that we do a 3-year program, because it exposes to lots of situations that you wouldn't necessarily pick, but that might be your future sort of learning. I never thought I was going to be a children's nurse, and you know, that's where I ended up being, and that's just through exposure and trying different things.
I think with placements as well, just to add in, like when you actually get given your placements, don't judge it by what it says, and don't listen to what your friends say either, because I had a few occasions where I got district and everyone was like, oh, you're going to hate that. I loved it. Like that was one of my favorite placements. Or I'd heard things about trauma orthopedics and I was like, oh dear. But again, I loved that placement so much. And then rehab, everyone had said really lovely things. And I got there and went in my placement. I thought, okay, I've done that placement. I gained the knowledge and experience I needed, but I'm not going back there. It's not for me. Like, so just judge every placement for yourself. Don't compare what other people think about each placement.
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah. You know, whatever you put into your placement is what you're going to get from it. So if you are 100% into it, even though you feel it's not your fit, your area, you're going to get so much out of it. You know, you're going to be surrounded by a wealth of knowledge. So tap into that. You know, even if I've done it where I've set up a Teams meeting with another professional, so a psychologist or speech and language therapist, and I've just sat down on a Teams meeting and just asked them questions, had a bit of a chat. What do they do? What's their role? Because you won't be working solely on your own. You're actually in a wider team with this patient. So, you know, make sure that you tap into those different resources and, you know, say yes. If you're able to see procedure, say yes. You know, that experience is so invaluable.
That's great. Thank you so much for that. Great questions. We hope you found this live stream helpful today, and we are really looking forward to having you as part of our DMU community. If we've not been able to answer any questions that you may have on the live stream, or if you think of anything between now and any other time, then please do email us on inquiry@dmu.ac.uk. And we'll pop that in the chat for you as well. So there are lots of ways that you can come and visit us on campus and speak to our lecturers and meet our current students. You might even see Emma and Emily there. On the 3rd of May, we've got a dedicated applicant taster evening, and that's within the faculty. It's a great opportunity to come along, meet other applicants, experience a mini lecture. There's even free pizza, so great stuff. We're going to post the comment in the comments there. We're going to post the link to book onto that. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, we've got the open day on the 1st of July. Again, great to come to that, see the campus, have a real feel of Leicester as well while you're up here. So lastly, I just want to say thank you to our students, to Emma and Emily for today, and to Lazar. Great conversation, really insightful, really interesting. Thank you so much for that. And obviously, thank you very much for everybody that's been watching at home. We hope to see you at DMU in the future.
Ashni, Piyush, Sojani.
Hearing my name read out and walking across that stage just reminded me of how far I've come since stepping foot at DMU. DMU changed me, changed my life. This university gave me my identity, the friends I've made, the lessons I've learned, the degrees I've got, and it's made me who I am. DMU has provided me with so many opportunities, and I don't just mean my degrees. I'm proud of those. I have 4, but I mean the life skills, going to New York and dancing on Times Square. I'd never thought I'd do that. Going to India and teaching dance, learning languages. I've learned 3 new languages since I've come to DMU, volunteering hours, work experience. So these are the life skills that I've gained that I'm going to need to get on and carry on making the life that I want for myself. And if it wasn't for DMU, I probably wouldn't have done any of this. Going to Dubai was, again, another life-changing experience that I got because of DMU. I got to speak there. It's been a good experience. I've loved learning here because the lecturers that I've had all have industry experience. It's been nice because you know that they know what they're talking about. The student union elections have been a highlight for me because they were different, they were interesting. I managed to win an election during the pandemic, and I think for me that's a win that I'm very, very proud of. Graduation was emotional. My father was sat across me on that stage, and 8 years ago he came and dropped me here. He said to me, just believe in yourself and you'll be able to do it. And I did. And 8 years later, seeing him across me on stage, it was special because it felt like life doing a full circle. When people say that they don't know where home is, for me, this is home. I came here as a 20-year-old girl, and 8 years later, I'm still here, and the journey hasn't stopped. The journey is still ongoing. This is home. This is where I grew up.